Jonas, Jaime, do you want to kick it off, Jonas? You want me to do it?
Sure, we can get started. And I think it's the first time we have Jaime joining for an AMA. So Jaime is the Chief Technology Officer of Liti Capital, and he will deliver some exciting news that I think you've all been waiting as well. So you will hear it from the mouth of the master.
Shall we start with this news, or hello? Shall we start with this news?
With the news? Of course. What do you mean? He literally just introduced you as the master. Like there's no going back from that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell him.
Okay, so we are ready to announce that we are going to launch the stacking product for wLITI, and this has been an intensive work during the last month, but now we are ready to go. There are several features that are going to be included in the system. We are going to give all the details on Monday, but for now I can tell you some general details. First, the users will not need to lock the tokens for a particular amount of time. Instead of that, we implemented a power law system that will actually reward people depending on how long they have been in the stacking program. You should expect APYs in the range from 3 to 10%, depending on the period that you choose for the stacking. And there is an integration with the external smart contract that will allow in the future to even improve this stacking system. But that's all for now. All the details of how this is going to be and the specific rates, APYs, are going to be given on Monday.
Great. That is in fact. Oh, go ahead, Jones, please.
Yeah, and I think the key point is that this will be released on the 13th of September. On the 13th of September, the staking will be live, and you will be able to stake your wLITI as of that date for the different period of time. So mark the date in your diary if you want to participate in that program, because it's going to start on the 13th, it's going to be great.
We're really excited about it. We hope you guys are too. We looked a lot at the marketplace for equity tokens, and we have heard from a lot of our investors, including some of our largest investors, that because of the stability and consistent growth of the token, they almost look at wLITI as a bank account, as a safe place to keep cash. We love that. We do believe that it is a safe place to keep cash. That's how we've set up the entire thing. And so ensuring that people can generate a return for keeping their cash with us is something that because we talk about it a lot in the AMAs, has been something that's been important to the entire team. And Jaime has done a phenomenal job, a really phenomenal job of stepping up and putting together what sounds very simple, but is actually a complicated contract and process. So we're really thankful, Jaime, for all your work on that. Does anyone have any questions? We have a couple other things that we want to talk about. I don't know, Jonas, should we go through each of them and then do questions on everything? Or do you want to go one by one?
I think let's do the question at the end, perhaps. It would be better.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, Jonas, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So as well, one thing that will come to September, and we had to postpone already quite a few times, is the Scambuster voting. That will get started on the 22nd of September. So we have a date. Clara, who's in charge of our PR, will definitely give you more information, and the name might change, but in effect, on the 22nd of September, you will be able to start to vote for the different projects that we have decided to bring to the community. So we have received close to 400 different scams to investigate and to litigate for free as part of our action to give back to the community. It took us a lot of time to verify that those, it was indeed a scam, that it was indeed a fraud, that things were genuine. That's why it's taking a bit longer than anticipated to be able to release that. The idea is that we will ask the community to vote on between 10 to 15 projects, so that we can take one of those on pro bono to recover the funds for that or victim or the group of victim. And I think, this is going to be a very exciting time because it's the time of accountability. It's time that people start to be responsible for their own action, and it's time that scammers start to feel the heat a little bit because they've been abusing the trust and the kindness of the crypto community for too long. And I think it has to stop. And I'm a firm believer that because we have both the litigation and the investigation capacity and the financial means to do so, it is crucial that players and companies like us start to do something about it, because otherwise, from a regulatory perspective or government perspective, not much will be done. And I'm sure all of you that have been victim of a scam have been destroyed because you don't know what to do once it happens to you. You can go to the police; they don't understand what's a token, what's a MetaMask wallet. They don't know what to do with it, and it doesn't go anywhere. And so it's time that somebody steps in and takes some leadership in this, and we want to be the company that does that. So get excited. We'll be, if you're on this call and you're one of the victim and you have sent us a project, we'll confirm to you in the next week or so which project and if your project has been selected or not for this. The selection process has been very, very difficult, but we have to make a selection. We don't have the capacity to present, close to 400 projects to the community. It's just insane, and it's impossible. So we had to be to make a subjective selection based on the type of fraud and scam, and whether it was really a crypto scam or not. And so
one day, hopefully we will be able to do a couple hundred ones. Yeah. Right. The bigger we get, the more we're going to do. But it was horrible. The selection process to get down to 10 was, for me anyway, it was inspiring, but also heartbreaking, right? The people that had, so many people have had so many bad things happen in this space, and trying to narrow it down to 10 was not easy. But Jonas, we also are, I don't know if we've announced it, but so you guys know, there will be a prize for anyone who votes for the winning case. Did we announce the amount, Jonas, or is that going to come out?
Not yet. That's going to come out in the next couple of weeks on the lead up to the 22nd. So we're going to release more and more information. But the idea is that if you vote for the projects that will ultimately be chosen, you get some type of reward as well, because you have had that person get their case taken on for free by us. So I think it's only fair that there is some small compensation on that front.
So can I ask you one more thing?
Go for it.
I thought you were also going to tell everybody how we met on this call, right?
I thought everybody knew already.
One day, my friend. One day. Okay, that we're very excited about this next stage. It is a Scam Busters defending the community. That is a huge reason why we are in existence. We have two jobs. One is, there are two things that we think about every morning and every night. The first is, how are we creating value for our token holders? And the second is, how are we giving back to our community? And so those are the two driving forces behind this company. And we are very excited to spend some time focusing on the second one. So
yeah.
With that, I'm sorry, just a piece of information about the voting, because we will have the stacking already functioning at that time. You will be able to vote even if your tokens are on the staking. So you don't need to worry. The voting, the tokens don't need to be moved. They don't need to be locked. And if you have your tokens in the staking, you still are able to vote.
It's a great point. Very important point. So I think we have one more announcement. Is that right? And then we can open it up for questions.
Yeah, that's correct. So there is another central exchange coming this month in towards the end of the month in September. So we're finalizing the due diligence and the onboarding process, but it's going to be one big one that is spread between Europe and Asia. And we think it's going to also help to get more traction on the token. So the wLITI will be listed on another central exchange by the end of the month of September. And we will continue to roll out central exchange as we grow, because it's a good way for us to reach out to new traders and new people. And it brings volume, it brings attention to the token, and it helps us grow as well on the decentralized exchange world. So it's a big beneficial for everybody.
Yep. I am very excited about that. Now I'm worried you give too much information for our exchange contest, but we should probably run it in the chat anyway, right?
Yeah, I think perhaps we need to the winner of the last contest. I don't know if he's in this call. He doesn't seem to be, but he is very good at winning contests. I was thinking perhaps we should ban him from participating because he's too good. But yeah, we're not gonna do that.
That's horrible. That's terrible. I'm gonna vote no on that. Good gets paid. But in all seriousness, we are excited. We are continuing down that path all the time. We are private equity for everyone. We are for the community, and therefore we have to make sure that we are out there for everyone and every part of the community. I think those are the major announcements. Did I miss anything?
Do you want to talk about Binance Claim?
Yes. Let me give an update on Binance. Really important. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but the outreach and response has been stupendous, overwhelming in some ways. We have had hundreds of articles, podcasts. Tomorrow, by the way, there is a forecast podcast or video cast interview that is coming out where I am talking with Angie, who is one of the founders of Forecast, about Liti Capital and about the Binance claim. We have had hundreds of people sign up on the website. We have hundreds of people that have joined the group to fight for this community, to hold Binance accountable. And I think that, as ambassadors for Liti Capital, to the extent that you guys know anyone, if you have any chats or groups that you are in, please keep spreading the word. BinanceClaim.com, and do it for two reasons. And this is the power of this company. Okay. Do it because it's the right thing to do for the community, but also, and this is, again, I know I just said, I'm going to say it again, the power of this company. Every additional claimant that comes in, if we win, Liti Capital gets 30% of that amount. So not only is it good for the community and for the person who otherwise will not have any venue with which to get their money back, but it is also good for Liti Capital, for this company, for you as token holders, as our community, because it will ultimately generate more capital, which we will return to this group. So please, 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 if you're out there, if you're shilling, if you're talking, whatever it is that you're doing, BinanceClaim.com. It takes less than 5 minutes. It really is taking like 3 to 4 minutes to fill it out. So if you know anyone that has lost anything due to Binance's actions or inactions, send them over there. It really has been an amazing response. And keep your eyes peeled for the forecast podcast or vodcast tomorrow. That'll be great.
And I think perhaps just one point to that, David, the reason why we need all of you to act as and pushing the Binance.com website is because we cannot do traditional advertisements to reach out to traders that have been affected, for the simple reason that every time we approach a crypto website to run an ad, they say, no, thank you, because Binance is the biggest source of revenue, and they will not run an ad that goes against their biggest client.
Can you guys believe that? Can you guys believe that? I mean, Jonah, like every single mainstream paper, NBC News, Bloomberg, the Financial Times, every single mainstream paper, Wall Street Journal covered it. Not every, almost every, there was one. Almost every crypto paper that we went out to refused to do it because they're afraid of Binance. Is that who we are as a community? I think it's probably the most surprising part of this process to date for me, has been, how quickly and how fully the crypto press completely folded.
Yeah, and that personally I find is very ridiculous, because they're all aware of the problems that there is in this community. Yet, when it comes to doing something, they're all running away, which is a bit sad.
Yep. Okay, financeclaim.com, guys. Spread the word, help somebody out, help your bag out. That is what we do, but it's been great. We really have had an amazing response, and more people are coming every day. Okay, so with that, I think now we have actually done all of the announcements. I think to the extent that you guys have questions about staking, about scam busters, about exchanges, or about Binance, although I am somewhat limited in what I'm allowed to talk about there, please, raise your hand and we will, we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Or the token price or the token generally. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we're here.
David, while people are raising their hands here, let me ask, since Jamie is got the special appearance here, Jamie, when it comes to, the staking, did you do an audit? Because that's a big thing right now. People are getting, taken advantage of if their code isn't clean. Is there an audit done for the staking? Did you guys do due diligence when it comes to that?
Definitely. So initially we do internal testing, and the staking have been actually in test for more than 2 months. After we are convinced internally that this is okay, we send it for an audit with an external party. So we received this audit 2 weeks ago, and the audit came clean. So yes, we are ready for this. The audit was passed without any issue. And this is something that we do always. We don't launch anything without an audit or that have been done by a third-party entity.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Good question. We are excited about staking. I am going to stake. So my personal bag is going to be staked. I'm going with the group. I'm going for the longest one, guys. Are we allowed to stake? Are the managers allowed to stake?
No, you can't. You can't stake, David. You can't stake. Take it back.
I can't stake. I will not be staking. Everybody else should stake, but I will not be staking. But if I could, I would. That's fair. Okay. Other questions from anybody? Don't be bashful. You got the whole team here. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. God, we're so good. This is craziness. Nothing?
We got the knees live right now.
Yeah, live. We got video. But
you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, guys. How are you?
Hey, good.
Great to be here with you guys. Sorry, I'm in the middle of moving in countries, but it's great to be here. Very excited to start working with you, David, and looking forward to make this a great, even greater project. It's already great.
Even greater.
Let's put it that way.
Thanks, Dennis. I really appreciate that. Liviu, go ahead. All you got to do is unmute, and you can speak.
Well, I think people, if they search me around the internet, they'll find a lot of stuff about me. So I like to create innovative stuff. I like to work in projects that can change the world. I love your vision, David, and the team, because it's really powerful what you guys are doing. And I think it's really necessary, both from a token perspective, from an industry perspective, but as well to create much more solutions that can solidify and as well create more maturity around the company. So I'm really excited, and I really believe in what you guys are doing. So I'm actually putting me and my network, and I'll try to bring as much people as possible, open doors around the world, and actually have some fun with everyone that is here in the community, but as well creating something valid. I love the vision, what David created in the past, what the team of Liti Capital has been working. And as well, I think we can actually make some really change within the industry, and at the same time create solutions for both the people that are suffering from, first of all, any kind of issues, but as well other areas related with scams and fraud and stuff like that, but as well to create better narrative. Because there was actually a study, and I will probably just a note on that. There was a study that compared crypto to dollar coins and dollar notes, and there was a percentage, alarming percentage of cocaine in every note of $1 or dollar that is in circulation. So I think the problems are not just with crypto, the problems are with all the money industry worldwide. So I think we should look at this more as kind of a new stage of the inception of money digital, and crypto, DeFi, and everything we're doing is just creating the mechanisms. And that's why this is the next stage of the world economy. So that's why I'm excited. Thanks. And I'm excited to make this happen.
Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. So, Liviu, I think you had a question. You're open. If you just unmute, you should be able to ask. You should be able to talk. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that okay.
Yeah. It's Liviu. It's like
Liviu.
I don't believe you.
I love it. That's a great.
Or the Led Zeppelin song, "Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You." Anyway, what I was asking is, as a fellow token holder, when is the voting for Scam Busters going to take place?
It's a great question. Jonas, you want to jump in there? I think it might be the 23rd of September.
22nd of September. Hey, Liviu. It's good. We've been talking a lot with Liviu separately on Telegram, so it's good to be able to speak from voice to voice. So it's going to be the 22nd of September. So It's going to be later this month. We'll be releasing, I said, I don't know if you were in the call when I explained, but we received close to 400 scams to take on. We will only present between 10 to 15 to vote because we just can't do it all, right? So
yeah, that's understandable.
But there's going to be the 22nd, and between now and then we release more and more information about the process, how the voting will work, and we'll present the cases as well as we lead up to the beginning of the vote.
You know what I think, Jonas? I mean, I don't know, Liviu, I don't know what you think, but Jonas, what if we did, what if the top two cases were within 5% of voting? Will we take two instead of one? Should we push it a little bit?
If there's a draw, we can definitely take two.
Draw? What if it's close? We can call it the Liviu rule. What do you think? Come on. If it's close,
Look,
having one breaks my heart. You're in?
And definitely, look, we told you guys, what we want to do and what we want to achieve in the Scam Buster initiative. The first priority is get the money back to the people that have been scammed. The second priority is justice. Everybody needs to feel that the justice system is working for them, right? Whether it's through a judicial decision or police actions, people need justice because in some cases there is no more money to recover, especially if it's an old scam, right? Sometimes the money has been spent on, a Lamborghini that then was crashed because the guy didn't know how to drive it. And then the number three, what we want to do is we want to protect future potential victims and actually avoid that there are future victims of these scammers. Because one thing is for sure is that these scammers, they have a repeat mindset where they are professional. They just create a scam, make money, move on to the next scam. But if they are exposed in a way where we can be sure that they are a scammer and that it's them, we will make the ability to reduce the nefarious activity they can do. And that's one of the goals as well that we want to achieve. So as we'll go through the month of September, we'll definitely release more on those three. And I think you might have some surprises as well down the line, especially with regards to, start to watch a little bit over the space of crypto and being a guardian angel of crypto. So we'll release some more stuff down the line. I don't want to say too much. Clara is going to probably be angry for me for releasing it already a little bit, but it's important that you guys understand that we are taking this seriously. and we don't want to leave people behind if we can afford not to.
But leave you should. We now have the leave you rule, and I think what you should know is that to the extent that the top two are within 5%, the leave you rule will have made a huge difference for at least one person out there. So here's my hope that they are within 5% of each other, and that we end up taking two cases. Thanks, Leave You. Appreciate it. All right. Any other questions?
We have some text questions, and so
Great.
I can read out to you guys. So Robert was asking, what legislation might bring power to wLITI, and how does upcoming legislation might affect the free crypto market?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have set up Liti Capital in a way where we believe regulation helps us, and it certainly shouldn't impact us. The dual token structure is such where even if crypto goes to zero, if Ethereum goes to zero, if Bitcoin goes to zero, if cryptocurrency generally is regulated out of existence, you as a Liti holder still own the underlying cash flows for the assets that we invest in. And so at its core, you are still entitled to those as a Liti holder. And so we actually like regulation. We are in favor of common sense regulation of the industry, both from the perspective of protecting against scams, but also because the more there are some basic guidelines and rules, the more comfortable people will be, whether it's scams or ensuring they're going to get their money out, or ensuring they're not doing something wrong, that people will be investing in the space. And the reality is, the more people that invest in the space, the more money everybody makes. Period, full stop. It is very simple supply and demand. The more money that is able to and comfortable coming into crypto assets, tokenized assets, the blockchain, all things being equal, the price will go up. And that means if you are an early holder, which everybody that is involved in crypto still is an early adopter. We are in the very, very early innings of this. It's a huge benefit to you. And like I said, when we started this call, two things that we care about all day, every day. The first is, what have we done to increase the value of the token today? And some regulation, reasonable, common sense regulation that comes out here is going to be an absolute boon for our investors. I cannot tell you how many large money institutional investors that have worked with me and or Jonas for years are excited to and looking forward to putting in extremely large sums of money if and when they are permitted to pursuant to local regulation. So, I think that is not something that I'm expecting in the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's more likely to be in the next couple of years. But if and when it comes, we are ready, and we think it'll be a huge benefit to Liti.
And I think it goes to the bigger question of what do we regulate, right? Is it possible to regulate Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency? I don't think so, because it's fully decentralized. But what is not decentralized is the people and the institutions that manage the money of the traders, that manage the money of the cryptocurrency holders. We are, I'm a citizen and resident of Switzerland. I have to obey Swiss law. I cannot do whatever I want. Liti Capital is a company incorporated in Switzerland. It has to obey Swiss law. Cannot do whatever it wants, right? There are rules that exist out there. And it's that kind of regulation that needs to start to encompass as well crypto project, because it's generally good for everybody. I want my money to be protected if I buy cryptocurrency on Coinbase or on Kraken, or if I use a high yield farming protocol. I want my funds to be, or the people that I manage my fund to be held accountable if something goes wrong. And I think when we talk about regulation, it's about the regulation of the people and the company, not necessarily of the cryptocurrency.
You're 100% right.
And this actually ties it ties back to another question that was asked by Murillo. He's in here, but I think he can't speak right now. So he's just trying to find out, like, how do you make this thing work? Because a decentralized environment can be complicated because there's no one entity over it all. So how do you hold people accountable, and how do you make sure that things are done the right way, both as, you know, as Liti Capital, but, you know, as a whole as well? Like, how do we move forward in that step? And I think, you know, the Binance claim might have something a little bit to do with this.
Yeah. So let's start with Liti Capital. I think Jonas said it right, and what you're seeing right here is evidence of it. We are not a company that doesn't exist. We do exist. We exist, and we are incorporated under the laws of Switzerland. We're on video. We're available. You see our names. If we do something that is not allowed or that is not permitted under Swiss law, people can come to Switzerland. They can sue us. We are required to follow those rules and those laws, and we do. We have made ourselves purposefully and explicitly subject to the rules that every other company and corporation and fiduciary, which is ultimately what we are a fiduciary of your money, has made themselves subject to. Not because we have to, but because this is the next stage. There will always be currency. There will always be 5 to 10x up and down, pump and dumps. That is a part of this community, and it's great for what that is. It's not what we are. We are an underlying company. We have a number of employees that work for us. I think, you know, directly and indirectly, we're up to around 30 different people that are working for us all the time. We have assets that we purchase. We expect, and you should expect, that those assets that we are purchasing with the money you give us are going to generate a return for you, a cash return for you, and that we are going to dividend out that cash return to you because you are an equity holder of this company. That is what we are. That is what we think the next evolution of fintech is, and what we think the next evolution of the blockchain is. This methodology, this system is the only way in the world for us to go public immediately, to be available for you guys. I wonder how many different countries, citizens of how many countries we have on this phone, immediately in a very liquid form where you can invest however much you want, whenever you want. So we are purposefully opting in to that system. The community as a whole, it's going to come. You can see what's happening with Binance right now. They are subjecting themselves to regulation. We are going to hold them accountable in arbitration for what they've done to their customers. And I think it's healthy. And Jonas is right. Community assets, those are for the community. Those should not have regulation. Corporations and other people that are making money off of or for the community, including us, we should be held accountable to you, the people who trust us, the people who we work for, the people for whom we are responsible. Any other questions
Robert,
that we can answer?
You had a question before we saw your name.
Oh yeah,
so your arms up.
Go ahead, Robert. You're unmuted.
If you change your mind, that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay too.
And earlier that was Robert's question, so just so you know, great. He was the one who asked the question before this one.
Perfect. Okay. Any other questions? You guys are welcome to write them to the extent that you don't want to speak them.
I mean, there is one that was pretty straightforward. What's the price prediction for wLITI for next year?
Much higher than it is today. Look, we're not going to, I think we're generally very uncomfortable giving price predictions. But I think it is fair to say that we believe that the token is fundamentally undervalued, still where it is today. And by the way, we will tell you, just like there are things I love about Elon Musk and things that I don't, right? But one thing that I love about him and that I respect about him is there are times when he thought Tesla's stock was overvalued, and he went out and he told people that. Warren Buffett has done the exact same thing. I'm not comparing us to either of those people, but I am telling you that today, my personal belief is that the token is still dramatically undervalued for the assets. We have raised a huge amount of capital for the assets that we have under management. And I will tell you if at some point I think it is fairly or overvalued, because our goal, again, is to make money for the token holders, and ensuring that you guys are comfortable that we are always honest and transparent about our views is a critical way to do that.
I appreciate that, David. Robert did have another question that he posed here. Somebody raising their hand?
Devin did. Devin, why don't you jump in and then we'll pop back to Robert. You just have to unmute.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So this is a very top level question, very, very simple. But it is kind of important to ask because I know that there's a lot of people who have commented on this kind of stuff and I'm not entirely sure myself. With things like, for instance, the Liti website and the front-end facing image of the company, we run into times where we see small bugs and small errors, things that need to be corrected, grammatical errors and those kinds of things. Is there a specific place that we can go and submit that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. We want all of that stuff. I think probably the best thing. Sorry, go ahead, Jaime.
No, sorry. You just finish, please. Yeah.
So what I was going to say is what you should do is go in the Telegram chat and please let, Action or R know that you have a comment, specifically one of the admins or moderators in the chat with something that you find. Feel free to do it publicly or send them a direct message. But we so badly want to get better in every way. I know I keep talking about these Liti-isms that we have, but another Liti-ism that we have is the more smart people, the better. We do not believe ourselves to be the king of all good ideas, nor that we are infallible. And having you guys out there as a community to tell us what we're messing up, whether it's the website, grammatical stuff, or something broader. We look, we listen. Jonas and I are on Telegram at least once or twice every day to make ourselves available for the community. And I cannot stress to you enough how much we hope you guys look, notice, troubleshoot, and tell us where we're coming up short. Please. It's one of the best services that you can do for us. It's the only way we're going to get better. Okay,
there
hopefully
was
that
another
answered the question.
On chat that said, so if we do end up staking wLITI, do we have to unstake to claim Liti benefits? And that was a question from Tafrost. I don't know if Tafrost is on the call, but the thing is there will be different time period for staking, and there will be shorter time period, there will be longer time period, and you will have ample time to finish a staking program before you can reconvert back to Liti to get the Liti benefits. So we'll be transparent about when do those benefits kick in, and then you'll be able to plan your staking strategy accordingly.
Yeah, we will find a way to not penalize you if you're wLITI or staked, and there is some event that requires you to have Liti. You have my commitment, and Jonas, I'm sure too. We will make sure that you are not penalized in that circumstance for utilizing those rights. It's a great point and a good question.
David, you asked for a question, so they keep rolling in. Let's go one after the other, make them quick here. So here's a question that Robert was trying to ask earlier. How hard is it to do what Liti Capital does? And, especially being a pioneer in the market. And are there any research or resources that Liti needs to continue doing what it's doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not easy. It takes time and effort. And just like anything else, you got to screw up a lot before you get good. So Jonas and I and the team have been doing this for 10 or 15 years. Jonas has had his own business for that period of time in intelligence. I founded and managed a private equity fund during that time. And just like anything else, like trading, like walking, like everything else that you do, it takes time, takes effort, takes practice, and you're going to fall a whole bunch of times before you are able to ultimately figure it out and succeed. And a lot of people don't. But in terms of what we're doing, it's very hard to learn and to do. But at this point, we feel pretty comfortable doing it, and we've done it for a long period of time. What we need, that's an easy one. We need you guys, right? I've said from the very beginning, very, very seasoned finance guy, taking money and making that money into more money and turning it back to the people who gave it to me. That's easy. The hard part for me and for us is if we're going to be private equity for everyone, we have to find a way to tell everyone that we're here so that people understand that we're here and that there's this option, whether they like it or not. And so what we really need from this group is, we need to grow the community. We need to grow the number of people that know who we are and what we offer people. I will tell everybody and anybody in this chat, if somebody tells me their whole bag is in Liti, I tell them your whole bag shouldn't be anywhere. You need to diversify. If somebody tells me that should they put some of their bag in a company like Liti? Yes, whether it's us or somebody else. You should not have all of your assets in things that are either going to go down 50% or up 5 or 10 times. There needs to be a portion of your capital that is in some place safer that is still going to generate good, strong returns for you. So that's really what we need.
Thank you, man. Can I just have a quick follow up on I had 2 questions, and thank
Sure.
you very much for your answer. Very lovely, very good. I hope I will get on the top question, Mark.
Sure.
My my thing was how hard is for Liti Capital is to pursue an exchange like let's say Binance or whatever they do, yeah, to ask for an wallet which cashed out maybe 100,000 euros, and I already know that it is a scam. I have all the proofs. I can bring you the TH transactions and everything, and we want to follow that up. Not you, but we will maybe provide 100 people will provide you where this money are coming from a scam, and they're going to that. But we are not in anyhow. We don't have any power to ask, let's say Binance, to provide us the name, the ID of whoever was that wallet who cashed out. How hard is it for you?
So
How hard is it for you to ask or maybe to push, or you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. So look, I think 2 things. There are 2 different resources that you can go to. The first is, to the extent it sounds like it was not Binance specifically, but some third party that's using Binance. If it's Binance specifically, you go to BinanceClaim.com. To the extent that it's a third party that's using Binance, what I would suggest is that you email what you have to scam busters, so that they can take a look, and they will let you know and or get back to you. I think what's very important from that perspective is that if you need to get something from Binance, specific information about somebody who scammed you, the bare minimum that you need is a police report. You need to go in your local jurisdiction. You need to tell the local police or other law enforcement what happened, and you need to ask them to produce a police report. If without a police report, it is very, very difficult to get them to give any information about anybody. To the extent that you have a police report, we or somebody else can help you, and they generally can be forced to release the information that the party gave when they signed up, the KYC information that Binance would have. So there are no guarantees, but that is a good first step. And it is not, some people think getting a police report is a big deal. It takes time. It's annoying, but it is eminently doable. So that's how I would start. I hope that helps. Any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I have one other question. So we see a lot of communication coming out of Binance right now in regards to mandatory KYC for projects and the self-regulation. I think it's a facade, but the self-regulation that they're putting forward together, is that indicative at all of maybe the kind of position they might be in facing the litigation from us in that situation?
There's no question about it. First of all, thanks for the question. It's a good one. The second thing is there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Binance is facing two material issues. One is pressure from regulators, and the second is pressure from consumers. And one without the other has not been sufficient to really generate change. But both together are having a material impact over just the last couple of weeks since we let them know we're here. You guys have seen there have been a number of public statements from Binance about how they're altering their policies. By the way, that's great. We are not anti-Binance. It is not good for the crypto community for Binance to disappear. What we are is we are pro the community. And the best case outcome, and I am sure there's somebody from Binance that is on this AMA, the absolute best case outcome here for them is the same as for us, which is we all make mistakes. Okay? I guarantee you I have made more mistakes and probably worse mistakes than anyone on this call. The question is, when we make them, what do we do? How do we handle them? And I think that what has happened historically with Binance, that happened. People were hurt. The question is, what are we going to do now? Are we going to sit down together and figure out a solution that makes the community whole and puts reasonable rules around to make sure that if something legitimate happens again, that there's recourse? If that is the path forward, and that is a path where we are happy to be hand in hand with Binance. And I will be the first person standing at a press conference next to them saying, these guys are trying to get better. These guys are trying to do the right thing. You should start to think about trusting them again. So I think there's a number of different pressures that are coming to Binance, and those pressures are only going to increase until they do right by both the regulators and the consumers. But we are pro Binance, and we are, we're not anti-Binance, and we are certainly pro a Binance that sets up and generally is willing to abide by reasonable rules. Action, how are we doing? Am I missing anyone? Any other questions coming in?
I mean, we're always doing good. Anytime you guys do AMAs, I'm super excited. Marilla had a follow-up though. Sure. So, and this is actually really exciting to me because it's how I figured out, Liti existed. So how to improve DeFi system to facilitate minimally guaranteed responsibility for our money. So like looking at new projects, how do people make sure that they're not going to get scammed? And I love when both you and Jonas talk about what to do when something does happen, like filing a police report. But before that even happens, to make sure that things are legitimate. And I think you talked about the team. To me, that's one of the top things. What do you think when looking at projects, looking at things to invest in the DeFi space? What are some of the things to watch out for?
It's a great question. I'm going to let Jonas jump in on this piece. But what I will say is that before this call, I was on a call with some of the members of the team. We are actively working on a part of the Liti website and project that is geared towards nothing but that. That is geared toward an education for people about what to look for and a resource for people that is beyond Scam Busters, because we cannot get to everybody in Scam Busters as to what to do to the extent that you think you're being scammed or you have been scammed. So I love that question. But in lieu of that, Jonas, why don't you give, you're probably in the best position to give better answers on that.
I think what you need to do is due diligence. And in the crypto world, this goes, spend a bit of time not only looking at what the chart looks like, because this tells you nothing about whether something is a scam or not, but who is behind the project? Are they easy to find? Do they have social media in their own real name? Is the picture that they have the same picture as 20 other social media profile that have totally different name or not? And I think, and as well, the most important question you need to ask yourself, if they promise you a crazy amount of returns, how do they make their money? What is their economics? Because if they don't tell you exactly how they plan to generate these returns for you, you are the product. You are the way that they will make money by stealing it from you, right? So they need to have a clear path to profitability that is not a Ponzi scheme, that is not a multi-level marketing scheme, that is not purely stealing money from other people. They need to have clear ways that they make money. And if the only way that they are hoping to make money is to hope that Elon Musk will tweet about the name of his new dog, you're in the wrong token. You really are in the wrong type of token to be safe. Because as much as these kind of projects can skyrocket, everybody that invests in those kind of things think they can beat the market and exit when it's at the highest level. But the reality is that most people exit when they've lost everything or almost everything. So ask yourself, how do these guys make their money? Are they promising you 80% return on the staking program? How do they make this money to be able to afford this? And if you see, there's been this huge news about BitConnect in the US, where they have been fined for $2 billion. And BitConnect used to be a high-level staking program that promised something close to 10% return on Bitcoin, Bitcoin staking, I think for each month, so something ridiculous like this. But they had no clear way of generating the money. The way they were generating the money was taking it from other investors and distributing to their first investors, which is a Ponzi scheme. And as a result, it crashed. The only people that made money with the system were the founders, and now they're being asked to return it. They're being forced, not asked, forced to return it because it was a scam. So this is the most single important question you need to ask yourself. How are these people making the money that they claim they are making or that they want to make with your investment?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And by the way, look, we know there are a lot of members of the community that like the meme coins and currencies. It's totally fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It can be fun to do them and you can make money off them. And Jonas is absolutely right that the game is not to be the last one out and that it is really risky. Risky in a very different way than an equity token with an underlying business. The one other thing that I would note is one of the things I always see Jonas tell people, because we do help people who think they're being scammed, time. Anybody that is pushing you to do something immediately or quickly is big red flaring lights should go off. There is almost never a need to do something that day or that night or that hour, or it's only available that second. That should be a very, very, very bright red light. The other thing that Jonas always tells me is if you get added to a Telegram, don't just look at the name, check the details. A lot of times people will change like the I in my name to an L. Or something where it's it looks like it's me or Jonas or somebody else, but in reality the actual the actual detailed name is slightly different. So just check those two things, keep your eyes on them. But I learned that from you, Jonas. I learned it by watching you.
That's a good one as well. Look, and these cameras get creative, so you need to stay vigilant and keep your eyes open because they're very innovative as well. So what is working right now might be a different way to scam people in 2 months. It will not be the same way. So just be alert.
All right, so we're coming up on an hour. I think unless Action, there's a question that you think is dire to answer. I think it's better to let people get back to their day. I don't know if there's one last question or if we made it through the queue.
Yeah, if you can close with this, I think that'd be great. So Whitetail's actually asking, so is the goal to provide even more value by educating people on the Liti website as far as how to, community resources essentially. Is that something that you're looking to provide here in the near future?
Yes. The answer is yes. Keep your eyes peeled. We are actively working on a product that will be a community resource. Two things that we are focused on every day. How are we making money for our token holders, and how are we giving back? And Scam Busters is critical, but it's not enough. We got to do more. We got to do better all the time. So we are actively working on that, and there's more to come. Guys, thank you all so much. We see you. We notice you. We appreciate you. We love this community. Thank you guys so much for being on the call. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, and we will, I'm sure all get together again soon. Thanks, everybody.